And to everyone who hates when I win, the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her. And I can only hope that despite my flaws, and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them, that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
Oh, for which movie?
Rachel Zegler just experienced every actor's worst nightmare, watching her own movie crash and burn in a nearly empty theater. And not even a Bargain Tuesday could save it. The much-hyped woke Snow White remake didn't just flop. It vanished, gone in an instant, like it never even existed. At just 23, Zegler sat in that eerily silent cinema with only a small group of loyal friends by her side, trying to stay positive while her Hollywood dreams took a brutal nosedive. Once hailed as the next big thing, this was a harsh wake-up call. Music? Check. The box office numbers hit like a gut punch. On March 25, 2025, almost no one showed up. Rachel brought her loyal crew, Ilya Mason, Jorge Mason, Remy, and Maria Isabel Deason, for moral support. But that theater looked more like a haunted house than a premiere night. Thanks to Ilya's Instagram stories, the internet got a front row seat to the cringe-worthy spectacle. When Rachel's name appeared on screen, Ilya yelled out, "Rachel Zegler!" like it was a concert. But all Rachel could do was awkwardly laugh and clap for herself. Ouch. It wasn't even clear if they'd booked the whole theater, or if nobody else bothered to buy a ticket. Either way, it was painfully awkward. Trying to keep things light, they jumped on a trending meme, asking for 2 tickets at the theater. The poor worker asked, "What movie?" And the camera spun to their faces, holding Snow White popcorn buckets and souvenir cups. Completely deadpan. It was pure comedy, but also kind of tragic. To top it off, Rachel was holding a bouquet of flowers, probably a pity gift from her friends, since the audience sure wasn't giving her anything but silence. She may have played Snow White, but this movie kissed rock bottom, raking in just $3.5 million during Thursday previews and a disappointing $43 million for the weekend. Disney's woke Snow White was a total flop.
This is really a bad movie, and I apologize to Walt Disney himself. I'm sorry.
Behind the scenes, you guys know as well as I do that those executives like Spielberg are looking at that saying, Rachel Zegler can F right off.
And it's burning a massive hole in their wallet. To put it in perspective, The Little Mermaid opened with a whopping $95 million debut. And even Dumbo, yeah, that flying elephant, pulled in nearly the same numbers with a much smaller budget. Meanwhile, Snow White cost over $250 million before they even started promoting it. Now, theaters are ghost towns, and critics are having a field day. Social media is overflowing with screenshots of empty seating charts and sad pics of solo moviegoers sitting in deserted rows. The internet's even taking it to the next level, with some suggesting a GoFundMe to help Disney break even. That's how bad this box office disaster really is. And just when you thought it couldn't get worse, an old clip of Rachel Zegler resurfaced. Yeah, it didn't age well. In it, Zegler confidently said that people would be lining up to watch her movies. Now, the only thing piling up are the receipts, and they're screaming that Snow White is a royal train wreck. In that now viral moment, she says, even with her flaws and cracks, she believed fans would wait to see her shine. Fast forward to now, and the only line forming is online, with people lining up to roast her. Theaters across the country were empty, ticket sales were a disaster, and critics weren't holding back. One user said it simply, "Welcome back to reality." Then, E. Miles Chong jumped in, reposting the clip on X and reminding everyone that Snow White is now officially Disney's lowest-performing live-action remake in decades. He even added, "This is really a bad movie, and I apologize to Walt Disney himself." Yikes! Turns out, Snow White wasn't the only thing going down in flames. So was Rachel Zegler's relationship with co-star Gal Gadot. A jaw-dropping report from Variety just dropped a whole load of behind-the-scenes tea. And, spoiler alert, Rachel was right in the middle of the chaos. The tension wasn't just on screen. Behind the scenes, things were boiling over. Zegler also faced backlash after posting "Free Palestine," a controversial move, especially since Gadot is Israeli and served in the Israeli army. I mean, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and, very evidently, there's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. "Yeah, weird, Zegler said. "So, we didn't do that this time." Rachel Zegler's jab at Gadot felt cold, especially considering how strained their relationship had already become. Turns out, the two stars were on completely opposite sides of a very heated political divide, and Zegler's social media posts showing strong support for one side reportedly put Gadot in a serious bind. Because of her background, Gadot became the target of major backlash, so intense that it spiraled into threats against her safety. It got so bad that Disney had to drop extra cash to hire more security for her. She's a mother of 4, and suddenly, her safety was on the line, all while trying to promote a movie that was already crashing. She didn't realize how big the fallout could be. For the movie, for Gadot, for anyone, an insider revealed. And, if that wasn't enough, this $270 million production was already bleeding money from massive reshoots, and Zegler's constant controversies were only making things worse. Then came the last straw. Right after the presidential election, Zegler posted on Instagram, "May Trump's supporters never know peace." That single sentence sent Disney execs into full panic mode. Boom! Instant firestorm. At that point, the studio had had it. She was alienating half the audience for a movie that was already limping toward disaster. In a last-ditch effort to fix things, producer Mark Platt personally flew out, not once, but twice, to talk with Zegler. After a lot of back and forth, she finally agreed to let a Disney-paid social media expert step in. From then on, every single post leading up to the March 21st release had to be approved. Damage control was in full effect. But just when it looked like things had cooled off, drama struck again. Eager's wording made it sound like, on March 20th, just hours before Snow White hit theaters, Rachel dropped a sentimental Instagram post calling the film a life-changing experience. She gushed over the crew, called them the greatest team in the world, and went on about 3 magical summers filming in London. But guess who she didn't mention? That's right, Gal Gadot was completely missing from the shout-out. Not a word. Fans noticed fast, and just like that, the feud rumors reignited. Gadot? No tag, no mention. Not even a throwback pic. And of course, the internet clocked it immediately. Could it have been an honest mistake? Maybe. But when you stack that silence next to Zegler's shady Oscars comment and all the off-camera tension, it's hard not to see it as another not-so-subtle snub. And the drama? Oh, it's still going strong. If Snow White's box office flop wasn't already straight, out of a nightmare, the chaos swirling around Rachel Zegler is like pouring gasoline on a fire. From day one, the internet was on edge after Disney announced her as the new Snow White. Some critics didn't hold back, throwing shade over casting a Latina actress as the famously fair-skinned princess, just like the noise Halle Bailey got when she took on The Little Mermaid as Ariel. But Zegler? She clapped back hard in a now-deleted post. Yes, I am Snow White. No, I'm not bleaching my skin for the role, she snapped. According to the Wall Street Journal, she even called out critics as losers, accusing them of obsessing over the bloodline purity of a cartoon princess. Yeah, that didn't exactly calm the internet down. In a 2022 Variety chat with Andrew Garfield, Zegler admitted the backlash had her trending for all the wrong reasons. Progressive in one way, and then, but you're still making that backward. Story of 7 dwarves living in a cave? What the are you doing, man? She said. Angry people, she said, were blowing up her name online. Sure, sometimes controversy gets a movie trending in a good way, but in this case, there's no box office magic happening here. From the jump, this version of Snow White has been climbing a steep hill, and Zegler's own words have made the path even bumpier. In a 2022 Extra interview, she stirred up even more noise when she boldly criticized the original 1937 Snow White story. So, there's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her, Zegler said, straight up dragging Prince Charming while talking about the original Snow White. While Disney had already teased a modern spin for the remake, Zegler's wording made it sound like she wasn't just updating the story. She was ditching the heart of it. Fans were not having it. That one comment blew up fast. People felt like she was flat out dismissing the iconic romance that made the 1937 film a Disney legend. Critics came in hot, saying it sounded like she was trashing the very classic she was supposed to honor. Why take the role if you hate the story? So when it came time for the premiere, the real question was, would Disney still go all out with a full red carpet rollout, or would they quietly brush this mess under the rug? Turns out, they chose the quiet route. According to Variety, Disney ditched the usual star-studded premiere and instead went with a low-key daytime pre-party on March 15th, followed by a toned-down screening at Hollywood's legendary El Capitan Theater. Totally uplifting. The right way to be woke, right? When you actually cancel the roles for the marginalized population because just putting them on screen is somehow racist? No hype, no glitz, no grand entrance. Even the European premiere got the same treatment. Instead of the flashy fanfare you'd expect at London's Leicester Square, Disney kept it quiet, opting for a discreet event at a tucked-away castle in Hibigi, northern Spain. From CGI fails to muted premieres, this fairy tale keeps getting grimmer by the day. So what does all this really say? Was it a lack of confidence? Fear of more controversy? Or maybe a quiet admission that Disney knew the film might not hit the mark? Whatever the reason, one thing's clear. For a movie already drowning in scandal, that toned-down premiere felt like a major red flag. It was like Disney was bracing for a crash landing, with a muted rollout, non-stop backlash, and a box office that completely flopped next to its massive $270 million budget. Snow White didn't play out like a fairy tale. It turned into a straight-up, cautionary tale. A lesson in what happens when a blockbuster gets buried in drama before it even hits the screen. And now, the big question is, how did Disney fumble this so badly? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think this remake ever stood a chance? Don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your crew, and hit that bell so you never miss the next drop. See you in the next one.